Hello everyone, welcome back to Joy's Creative Finger. Sisou, a French simmer, requested that I build a bungalow. She's waited for about 5-6 weeks and she got really upset with me. I hope she's still a part of the channel as I have managed to put together a bungalow. And it's interesting because I've never built a bungalow in my town for YouTube. As soon as I completed the quest that allowed you to have staircases, that was it. I upgraded all my builds to 1-stories and 2-story buildings. So this is the structure here. It's not a traditional home, it's a vacation bungalow. So a busy working couple would come to this property to get away from the busy town. I've tried to create some inconsistencies in the front part of the build, in and out, just to make it have a little character. Now it's 1 floor, and I came across that difficulty where no matter what you had done, it came up with this massive roof at the top, which was really horrible. I just don't like that look of a big box, you know, at an angle on top of the house. So I improvised and created the pool on the inside, and then it extends out to this patio section here where we have some people having a lovely time and moment in the hot tub. Now this vacation property belongs to Mr. and Mrs. Johans. They work very busy, tight schedules in the inner city, and they would occasionally come to this property to spend the night or a couple of nights and get back to work if they weren't able to get back to the suburbs where they live. So it's not a family home. They are a young couple. They don't have any children, and this is one of their homes in the various cities where they work. However, Mrs. Johans here is in a tub with Mr. Suave looking Alejandro, who keeps her company most of the time. Her excuse is that her husband works and works and works, and they spend absolutely no time together. Now he works in the inner city. He would leave first thing in the morning after a couple of days with his wife, get to the train station, and then head off to the inner city where he works. He is the head of developments for SimTown and is the head of the project leading the charge to develop the inner city. So whenever he comes to town, he would make his way down to this, you know, moderate hotel here where he would lodge for the next couple of weeks or 3, depending on how hard the projections were going. And he'll make his way down to the head office and resume hours and hours of painstaking brain work for the city. This, on the other hand, leaves Mrs. Johans to herself, treating herself to some window shopping, proper shopping, and all kinds of luxury after her very short work day. So now that she has all this time on her hands, she makes it a point to look after herself, groom herself, and basically be available at any time her husband, you know, decides that he would want them to meet up for a breakfast or for a dinner or for a lunch even, and ultimately catch up on their very newfound love. It happened on a particular occasion that he had made reservations at a very luxurious hotel for them to have a lovely dinner, and he was to finish off his work schedule and meet up with her as planned. But he worked late into the night and completely forgot that she even existed. However, as loyal as she always would be, she attended this beautiful reservation, and unfortunately was met by a waiter who had no idea that there was even a reservation being made. He didn't even realize that he didn't make the reservation. Now this did happen a couple of times. She would speak to him and get hold of the secretary, who would advise that, you know, he was in another meeting yet again. So on occasion she hung out in the restaurant, and that was the first time that she met Mr. Alejandro here, who kept her company in place of her husband. Basically, she was taken in by his charms. He was very endearing. He had all of her attention and she had all of his attention. and to her it appeared she was the only one in the room whenever they met. So effectively the husband began, setting up dates for her, well, as it turns out, for her and Alejandro by not showing up. And this is how that relationship developed. As it turns out, as you do, after spending quite a bit of time together over the different days, she didn't think it was necessary to bother her husband about the fact that he wasn't keeping up with his date appointments, because of course she now had a fair distraction, and that distraction got even more complicated. Now that she has Alejandro to keep her company, she began going to some of these vacation homes that they have. They have 2 vacation homes and then their home in the suburbs. Now, the vacation home that you're going to tour is the one where she would meet up with Mr. Alejandro here. Obviously, all this unknown to her husband, as it turns out. So, now that we have a bit of a background to this property, let's go ahead and have a look at it. It's got a center part here with a pool, and this is the view from within the structure. So there are glass partitionings all around where you can see the living room, and once you come in from the entrance as well, that glass partitioning allows you a lovely view of the large pool in the center part of the house. Once you turn right, you have a long restroom here, which I prefer instead of a 1x3. It allows the sim to go in, use the facility, and the door stays shut. It's also just a couple of feet away from the entrance, which is quite convenient, and the occupants of this living room also have good access, quick access to the restroom. Now, as you can see, the living room is very sharp, it's very edgy, it's very modern. It's got gold accents and brown tones, dark tones, blue tones, and a great view of the pool. Now, straight on through those set of glass doors lead into the kitchen. She has a chef who comes round when she's there or when her husband is there, and he would prepare all kinds of meals of her choice. And the dining room as well is in the same space as the kitchen. Now, I absolutely love these seats for the dining section here. You can't actually sit on them and feed at this table, but I placed them there for the look. And the French Chateau bookshelf serves as a lovely backdrop for the living room TV on the wall. All of the rooms have a door leading out to the pool area, which is the center part of the house. So from the kitchen, you could take a dive into the pool. From the living room, you could take a dive into the pool. And then the door from the living room also leads to the other rooms in the house. So this is the guest room right here in this corner. And it's a room that would supposedly host maybe a colleague from work, very briefly, as the case may be. But yeah, it's just a bungalow that has a second room, as the case may be. I've used the spa furniture for the bathroom here, which I really love because it's nicely coordinated with other bits and pieces and the towels. And there is the French Chateau frame on the wall here, which I really like. The bed in this space is a Scandinavian bed. It's really lovely, and I love the textures on it too. And across the way we have the second door that leads to the master room that's further to the back of the house. I love this room, and I felt that this couch was nicely coordinated with the bed from the French collection, and it gave the room a kind of elegance that stepped up the house as a whole for a master bedroom, in my opinion. The bathroom as well is something I fiddled around with quite a bit, and I like what I was able to come up with. Having the units back to back against each other. Again, I've used some of the spa items, as you can see here, and this is one of my favorite pieces from the spa collection. Absolutely, it has all the detail of the creams and bath shower gels in it too, and I thought I'd make it a really large bathroom as well. Now that's the overview for the living quarters of this bungalow, and on the other side we have the sort of public entertaining space on the other wing, if I might say. Now, as for Mrs. Johans, although she has her reasons for behaving in the way she has, she, in my opinion, should find a better way to tackle her situation instead of further complicating matters. As it turns out, her husband has decided to surprise her at this vacation home. 2 is company and 3 is about to be an angry crowd. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.